when you cast well, which is a retrospective judgment, what happens is the actor brings his or her personality, his or her value systems, their quirks, everything into the thing. So now Aamir sir is not at all like Gulshan in his insensitivity towards people, but Gulshan has other aspects. See, Gulshan is very passionate coach. He's very, for him, basketball is everything. For Aamir sir, cinema is everything. Shubh, Mangal, Saavdhan, for me, it was a very funny problem that a guy can't get it up. I genuinely thought that what's the big deal? You know, the fact that the society is so reacting to it, and I genuinely don't feel it's a big deal, is what is reflected in the movie. That's the voice of the filmmaker, right? That's from that you kind of shape a screenplay and use your craft and all that. So I think filmmakers will always have a certain voice and a certain thought, an ideology. You know, Aamir sir ka plus point ये है कि हर एक picture उनको बहुत important है.
Yeah, which is true.
Lal Singh included, and that's why we love that man, you know, because anything he does it with 100% sincerity, you know, or if there is possible of 200%, then he'll do it. I think that's what we all love about Aamir sir, and that's what is exciting about Champions. That I don't think Tendulkar will ever say that अच्छा मेरा previous match में मैं 100 मारा तो अभी मैं ऐसा relax. I don't think that उनका आदत ही नहीं होगा. Also, it takes lot of effort to be a writer. Lot more effort, you know, in the sense that हाँ, very isolating process. वो बहुत बेचारा वो तो then the least you can do is to give that you know, the love from the audience कि यार देख तूने लिखा और इतना लोग प्यार कर रहे हैं तुम्हें. I request all of you, at least when you make films, please be kind with your feedback. You know, when you're very harsh with feedback ना, ऐसा लगता है कि हम धंधा कर रहे हैं. ऐसा नहीं है, ऐसा मत बोलिएगा please, because see, it's a very emotional thing. It is like you're looking at a child growing up. The child is in LKG now. It will become 10th standard in 2 months, 3 months. So wait karo na.
Both in terms of box office and of course critical acclaim, it's been massive. People are still coming to you and hugging you everywhere that you're going.
Yeah.
Has it been Aamir?
It's been great actually. Thank you, because this is what every filmmaker seeks. Love.
Yes.
And we're getting truckloads of it. So very, very blessed and very, very excited.
So the feeling has sort of, you know, has it started to sink in, or you're still sort of pinching yourself that this is like, it's massive. I'm not really talking about just in terms of box office, but just the way it has connected with the viewers. I was in the cinema hall to review the film and people were crying.
Oh.
You know, there's when they left the cinema hall, they didn't say a word, they just had moist eyes. And I could really feel that. So,
thank you.
I mean, is the pressure now more on you?
No, yeah, I think I'm trying to process all of this. It's just been 50 days, you know, to think of it, it's nothing compared to the 5-year journey that the movie has taken. So I'm just like soaking in the love, and when people like you, people like CIFF, this lovely video which he and his team have made and all that. So it gives me a lot of joy and happiness and a feeling of feeling blessed. And then when people like you share the joy, it just makes me feel so vulnerable and so happy. I'm not feeling any pressure. I'm not even thinking about what next. I want to soak in all of this. I think it'll take me 5-6 months to just soak in all of this.
Yes.
Because it's been a 5-year journey.
Yes.
So I think itna to banta hai.
Itna banta hai, true. You know, when we talk about narratives, and especially when we talk about rooted narratives, what is your perception about it? Are you looking at the characters? Are you looking at just the plot? Or is it the emotion that you would want the viewers to sort of, you know, leave when they watch the film? What is the word rooted for you then?
I think, rooted can have a lot of things, because cinema by itself is rooted in nothing.
True.
Because it's you're building a castle in the air. It's your imagination. It could be a dream. It could be a nightmare. It's just your imagination, and or your writer's imagination. I'm saying yours in the sense of a filmmaker. So it's just this feeling within you that says that you know, this is something that is moving me. It's haunting me. I don't know why it's haunting me. And maybe there'll be other people also who will connect. There is always the fear that perhaps what appeals to you may appeal only to you and not to anyone else. That
True.
could also happen.
True.
But I think it begins with anything which is rooted in you,
Right.
something in you that moves you, that as a story when you read or you hear a narration or there is some incident which sparks your inspiration or you write something, or there's an anger within you, there is something within you that kind of resonates with the material.
Right. Right.
I think then I feel that as a human being, you're part of society, you're part of relationships. So if it has moved you that much, chances are it may move at least one other person. Now, whether it will move crores and crores of people to make a sustainable movie is always a question.
True.
But one should not forget that it is rooted in the storyteller's hearts. And then if you're very lucky, then you meet a writer or you meet a producer, actor, and then slowly that small core team gets formed, and then there is a more and more people who believe in it.
Yes.
You see the resonance of it. Okay, the same scene of Sunil coming and telling him that Papa aapke jaisa hona chahiye, which made me cry, makes so many people cry. I think that way you feel very secure in the fact that we are living in such a disconnected world. We are living in a world with a lot of evil, a lot of cynicism. But movies like this come out and tell you that we all have the same hearts, we all have the same emotions.
Right.
That's
We'll again
really-
come back to Sitaare Zameen Par. We're talking about the emotional core of the characters, that your films beautifully capture. Getting Aamir Khan to sort of get that emotional core on the screen, what were those few things, that you must have, kept in mind? I'm sure, there are many when, it's Aamir on the screen. But were there anything in particular that you were looking at, just to capture that emotional core of the character?
See, I think when you cast well, which is a retrospective judgment, what happens is the actor brings his or her personality, his or her value systems, their quirks, everything into the thing. So now Aamir sir is not at all like Gulshan in his insensitivity towards people, but Gulshan has other aspects. See, Gulshan is very passionate coach. He's very, for him, basketball is everything. For Aamir sir, cinema is everything. And Pani Foundation is everything. Anything he takes, so there is that passion. So that I could say, resonate, that Aamir sir would play this character, the coach, the perfectionism of that he has already in him. All that will be very natural. He doesn't have to play it. So that will form a core base of it.
True.
Also, I think Aamir sir, lovely thing about Aamir sir is his candor and the fact that he has no filter. Right? He speaks his heart.
Which I think is best.
Which is amazing and which we all want to aspire to be like. So Aamir sir is known for candor and for having no filters, right? So I think that also Gulshan has. Now he may use it for a wrong thing. He's not as genius as Aamir sir. He's not an achiever like Aamir sir. But the candor of Gulshan, the no filter approach of Gulshan, and the fact that Gulshan is also a perfectionist who's obsessed with excellence, which is nothing wrong. That aspect of it, I rooted it in Aamir sir. I was like, okay, Aamir sir is a person who's got all of these things. So let's start building an authenticity and truth from this. Now, when you look at Genelia, for example, she disappeared off, the screens for a long time, and then she's focused on family. She's juggling multiple things. So she's an actor, but she's very proud about being a family person, a mother, a wife, and all that. With Sunita is. She's doing, she wants to be an actress, she is taking care of the shop, she's a very independent woman, but she wants a family. So again, that I felt Genelia has got that, apart from the obvious radiance and the joy, this aspect. So I think every person, when I met Gurpal ji for playing Kartar Baji, I never auditioned him also. I mean, we auditioned the tape and all that, but we were supposed to read, we never read. He just started talking about how he used to be a festival organizer, how passionately he used to organize the film festivals, and kitna mushkil hota tha to raise funds. So like, yahan pe to Kartar Baji, he is a Kartar Baji. So I think I like to cast people who are very similar to that in some sense, and you kind of build that from that. Otherwise, it look very fake.
Yeah, which is true. You're known for crafting cinema that not only starts very thought-provoking discussions, but are also sort of getting people to enjoy cinema. So yes, they're enjoying, but there's also a different aspect to it, which is more serious. When you're dealing with both humor and, of course, something as serious as the message, and also keeping in mind the message that your movie has, what is it that you do to ensure that the message of your film doesn't get diluted? How do you strike a balance between the seriousness of it and also the humor part of it?
I think it starts organically as one thing within me. So, for example, Shubh Mangal Saavdhan, for me it was a very funny problem that a guy can't get it up. I genuinely thought that what's the big deal? The fact that the society is so reacting to it, and I genuinely don't feel it's a big deal, is what is reflected in the movie. That's the voice of the filmmaker, right? That's from that you kind of shape a screenplay and use your craft and all that. So I think filmmakers will always have a certain voice and a certain thought, an ideology. And usually ideology is only seen in a narrow prism of politics.
True.
I think that does a disservice to the word ideology. Ideology is philosophy of life also, right? It's our way of looking at things. For example, when you watch a movie like May Adagan in Tamil, I met the filmmaker Prem Kumar, who I really like. When you meet him, he himself is like a beautiful R.K. Narayan novel. He's like that. He writes a novel form of the movie before writing the screenplay.
Okay.
And then if you see the movie, it'll have that very beautiful lilting quality. And when you meet him, he's exactly like his movie, like a very shant, very deep person who's very at peace with the world and all that. So I think that is the starting point for the voice of the film. Then the craft comes.
Yes.
Of course, you do craft it in certain ways, but it should not be very mechanical. Because a lot of movies started coming after Shubh Mangal, which tried to again have the taboo all the time. Because they thought the taboo was the interesting part. The taboo is not the interesting part. The taboo, the interesting part perhaps was that here is a topic we all want to talk about, but we're afraid to talk.
True.
There are a lot of topics which are taboo. Not all of us want to talk about it.
But I think it's also about the treatment. I mean, I remember the film very clearly, but there's this one sequence that I just can't have out of my head, and which is, where he's dipping the cookie in the tea, and then what comes next, which I think all of you have seen. I think these are those moments that really make your movies so special. They just, there's silence. They're just sitting together, having tea, enjoying tea, but there's this sequence which happens, and I think that really puts across, the message of the film.
Thank you.
So, कुछ आपके हिसाब से, what were those moments that have stayed with you? Like, when you watch your own film, of course, you have to distance yourself as well. You just have to, at times, also watch as a viewer. Not as a director, but as a viewer, are there any moments that actually stay with you when you watch your own film?
Yeah, we always have favorite scenes,
like,
which we want to do.
Let's hear from Shubh Mangal Saavdhan.
From Shubh Mangal, for me, it's easier to talk because it was adapted very beautifully by Hitesh Kevalia. So it wouldn't be self-praise. When I speak about the biscuit scene, he thought of it. I thought it was a great piece of writing. Visual writing and not writing words. I was like, man, this is amazing. Because, primarily my hunger is to be a director. I am an accidental writer. I started writing, and writing is very tough. So when I heard that scene, for example, in Shubh Mangal, I feel one of my favorite scenes is the scene in the park where she is having this doubt that am I not attracting him sexually? Is it me? And because we wanted to speak about how the porn influences men and women, and porn can set very unrealistic expectations and destroy lives, real lives, So especially in a country like India where sex education is not that accepted. So that scene very beautifully fit into the message. So that was the theme, but the way it, kind of starts with comedy and then segues into a very awkwardness and then to emotional sequence. And we were there in the theatre. Bhumi and I remember we were watching it in our preview show, and both of us were holding our hands. And because it was Bhumi's very vulnerable scene, and Ayushman's reactions also make it so beautiful. He owned it. But I wanted Bhumi to be very comfortable with that scene, right? So we just saw it, and the whole theatre was laughing in the beginning when she was trying to say, Danny boy, come to me, Danny boy. And suddenly when she shifted, the whole laughter stopped and people went silent here. And Bhumi just held my hand like this. And she said, we did it. Such a pure moment, And also the manner in which we did the scene, like it was very beautiful. In fact, while shooting that scene, Ayush and Bhumi told me that this is one of the most beautifully written and directed scenes, the mahal on the set and all that. On the real location. So that was a very beautiful scene in Shubh Mangal I loved. The biscuit scene was very funny too. And shooting that biscuit was very tough. The Yeah. And also I must tell you, a lot of this humor is very dangerous and very risky to do for upcoming directors because very few people will find it funny on the set. Very few people. And on the edit also, a lot of people will think he's making a stupid film. Which happened to Shubh Mangal also.
Which actually happened?
Yeah, of course it
that was
happened.
my
See,
question.
always cinema is...
Did people doubt?
People will always doubt. And there is nothing wrong with that. They may be right. So, one should have that healthy doubt always. And it's very difficult to judge also, right? You are seeing a biscuit fall on set. And then you are seeing the edit. Then music आएगा. उस time पे music भी नहीं है. Silence है. ये लोग क्या है ये हंसेंगे. If it's a comedy, which is why if you see a lot of films go into over the top comedy. Because वहाँ पे हंसी मजाक में वहाँ पे it looks very interesting. But then in the edit and the film, if you see, then it's nobody is laughing. So sometimes cinema, the cinematic medium actually is beautiful for awkward silences. When you put 2-3 people in a lift and they're not doing anything, they're just looking at each other.
Gaze.
And then people start laughing in the theater. And maybe one guy, just clears his throat. And another guy says, "Did you say something?" He says, "No." People laugh. That silence itself can become a very awkward thing. Now audience is more engaged like this. So that kind of humor for an upcoming director is very difficult to fight for.
True.
Because you need people to believe in you also and people to doubt you also. So you're not getting indulgence. So in Shubh Mangal there were these scenes. In Sitaare, for example, for me again that bathroom sequence was something I really loved. Directing. To again convert something as simple as a soap bathing sequence into, it was for me the equivalent of that chai dipping thing, everyday object.
True.
Becoming an epic, operatic kind of a scene. Also simple things like Sabka Apna Apna Normal. And then we were sitting...
Which I think is very hard hitting. I mean, Sabka Apna Apna Normal is like, it just there for us to know. I mean, it's very hard hitting, at least for me. I did perceive it like that.
It's the anthem of the film, and that's all credit to Divya Sharma, my writer, who should have been here. He's not well actually. So I really love the guy. He's amazing, very talented, and all credit to him for beautiful dialogues and Sabka Apna Apna Normal again. So, for example, when we were rehearsing that scene, I mean, when we were auditioning for that Kartar Paji, I think there was some, maybe it was Gurupal's audition or somebody else's audition where when the scene got over, some guy there, one of the actors, or maybe it was Gurupal, who suddenly said something like, the scene was over, and they continued and said, "Okay, so chai piyoge aap?" Karke. And then suddenly the thing got ended. Then we were sitting and I told my direction team that, hey, what if, he just talked about normal. ये चाय के बाद पूछेगा ना कितना शक्कर चाहिए, तो वो बोलेगा कि नॉर्मल, और ये बोलेगा आपका या मेरा. So then immediately we wrote that, and then on the set, now I wanted to push it even more because I felt that this Sabka Apna Apna Normal has to be hit on the head without it being hit on the head. And here is an opportunity to again tie it into an everyday object. जो सरलता बोलते हैं ना, तो जब आप चाय अभी देखोगे और एक और बंदा बोलेगा कि आपको कितना शक्कर चाहिए, and you say normal, somewhere you may think कि अच्छा मेरा नॉर्मल उसके नॉर्मल से अलग हो सकता है. So we pushed it on set. We did it up to this मेरा या आपका, and AK sir gives that beautiful reaction of his saying, हाँ अच्छा, okay, बड़ा Aristotle बन गया ये. I got it. Then I just requested him to just say, sir, can we just push it further? So then he said, I said, let's say an absurd number, So he said, हाँ डालिए जो भी नॉर्मल, जो सब लोग नॉर्मली डालते हैं, 6 चम्मच. And then Gurupal said, इसलिए आप बहुत sweet इंसान हो. So some improvisations like that happen so beautifully.
Yes. Coming to improvisations, when you have Aamir around, you really can't sort of, stick to what's written in the book. I mean, you have to be out there, for improvisations. How quick or how comfortable were you with all of them, or did you sort of also
No, actually, improvisation is very, very interesting, but one should be very careful about it.
Yeah.
See, 90%, 80% should be the script only. Within that, you kind of improvise few things. You should not stray too much, because what is exciting on that day may be just exciting because it's fun. It's something new. See, kabhi-kabhi kya hota hai, the script you've read 100 times. That day it's not exciting, and somebody says something, there it's very exciting.
Right.
Need not translate to the screen at all. So yeah, if you have the time, if you can take a 2-3 shots extra, you have 10 minutes more. If it's a digital camera, by all means shoot it and keep it. But in the edit, you have to be very, very strict. That just because it's funny, it's not going to be there. It has to move the story forward.
Right.
So in this case, for example, we did it because we felt ki yaar ye important. And in the edit also, we took time. We didn't open it up. So first we opened it up only till the script, which was Aapka Ya Mera.
Yeah.
Then we opened it up to little more. Then later on, after the full film was kind of, we found, then we said, okay, thoda aur khulte hain isko. And in fact, in the end only, finally, AK sir and I said, okay, let's go all out. Almost it was the last version of the edit where I said, chalo hum bhi ye 10 second bacha hai, because it's an important scene in the movie.
True. And Sitaare Zameen Par is very important for Aamir, considering, you know, what had happened to the previous film and, you know, how he had to deal with the impact of it, you know, it didn't really perform well. So, did you see that pressure ever on the sets on Aamir? Was that evident that this film really meant a lot for him? कहीं पे लगा था कि इनके लिए बहुत important ये फिल्म है.
Yeah, you know, Aamir sir का plus point ये है कि हर एक picture उनको बहुत important है.
Yeah, which is true.
Lal Singh included, and that's why we love that man, you know, because anything he does it with 100% sincerity, you know, or if there is possible of 200%, then he'll do it.
Yeah.
I think that's what we all love about Aamir sir, and that's what is exciting about Champions. That I don't think Tendulkar will ever say that अच्छा मेरा previous match में मैं 100 मारा तो अभी मैं ऐसा relax. I don't think that उनका आदत ही नहीं है उनका. I think every day for them they want to fill it with 100%. Otherwise, I don't think he can sleep. So I will not say because of that. Yeah, of course, a 1 year break he took. That was very important. The importance of taking a break. A lot of people said that, oh, he took a break. But isn't that what healing is about?
True.
You should heal. When something you've done with all your heart maybe has not reached the audience in the way you wanted, you should take your time off. You should take time to heal. And what is so wrong in an artist, you know, breaking down and hurting? Because that is, I think we should celebrate joy and sorrow equally.
Yes.
I think it's a very important emotion. If you see Inside Out, the Pixar movie,
Yes.
their sorrow is celebrated
Yes.
in the end.
Right.
Saying that sorrow character is very important. You have to cry, you have to break down, you have to let that thing go. Only then you will go to the next step of, okay, now my head is clear, now let me see what went wrong or what could have been done better.
Yeah.
Now even after Sitaare, after 3-4 months, I'm sure we'll sit together and learn.
I was coming to that.
Yeah.
You will sit together, and when is the next movie that coming out?
Oh, not because of that. Sit together and find out what we could have done better.
You're going to be dissecting that as well?
Yeah, we should. Because I think that's the joy of it, you know. Joy of it, and also the fact that, yeah, after a point, even I as a filmmaker or Aamir sir, all of us, we are very scared of the audience. And we must be. Today the audiences are even more, nuanced than before and even more aware. So I think we should take filmmaking very, very seriously and not ourselves seriously.
Yes. Again, coming back, you know, to those very rooted narratives that, you know, we just spoke about. In OTT space, do you think the filmmakers are taking that seriously? Do you think that there is enough space for filmmakers to sort of, you know, lay more emphasis on these rooted narratives? Culturally, it could be emotionally. Again, you know, the different aspects of it. Is OTT space then the right domain for such narratives?
I think all the medium, like even short films I'm seeing of a lot of upcoming filmmakers, I feel short films ought to be a medium in OTT. They should invite all filmmakers to make short films, because short films will give us an opportunity to try something new. For example, I want to do something in horror space. I want to try it out. You know, I might want to do something in the thriller space. I might want to do something in animation, for example. So it'd be a very healthy atmosphere if the OTT platforms invite filmmakers, upcoming, established, young, whatever, to just try out new things. And I think audiences will definitely support. That. You know, if there is a change of, if there is an experimentation in any form, it's good. I think OTT has its own rhythm, its own beauty. I remember watching most of my learning years in film school and all that in engineering, watching foreign movies in the pirated DVDs and all that which used to come, right?
You're not supposed to mention that.
Yeah?
Pirated DVDs?
You're not supposed to mention that. Okay. So anyway.
It was just a joke.
I know. So
you used to watch all of that? And
I used to watch movies.
That's correct.
Legal disclaimer. So, and I didn't get them, somebody got it for me. So anyway, while watching those movies, I felt it was very interesting, because I had this conversation later.
Yeah.
that most of the learning happened for a generation, for a lot of our generation, by watching one-on-one, like sitting alone and watching a laptop or watching at home. We didn't learn from a theatrical experience. Like I was lucky enough to learn from both, but a lot of filmmakers, they come from that. So maybe for them that solitary viewing becomes the meter rather than a mass viewing.
Right.
So then the rhythm of that film is very different. So when you're watching something alone, you can be more patient. You can have like Majidi kind of movies also made,
Yes.
which just culture. We are absorbing culture. We are watching their clothes. We're watching the production design. Like a series like Chernobyl, for example, so atmospheric, so beautiful. I'm not distracted by 500 other people getting restless. Arey yaar kuch nahi ho raha hai, nothing is moving. So I think each has its own rhythm, and I think rootedness is something that it depends on what your story is. If a story is a fantasy movie, if a story is Superman, for example, then we have to root that movie in mythology, for example.
Yeah.
If you are making a movie which is very comic, like a hangover kind of comedy,
Right.
then you have to root it in masti, for example. So I think we have to define each. The way I work is I define one word or two words to root the whole film in. For example, in Shubh, Mangal, Saavdhan, for me the guiding light was innocence. Everything has to be innocent. There should be no vulgarity. Innocence was the word. In Sitaare Zameen Par, I think for me the word was maybe simplicity. Maybe that could have been the defining word. So I think you have to root it in a thought. Then it will help to the director to kind of.
Going by, the lessons that kids are taking from, the recent release, do we see kids or children, as your big audience with your next film? Because I think kids were really, really happy with the film. My child watched the trailer and he was like, I have to watch this film.
Wow.
It was just the, the basketball sequence, that really grabbed his attention.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, that was, when we just saw the trailer, we were there, to watch another film, and we saw the trailer and I wanted to see his reaction.
Correct.
So he was just seeing what's happening, and then all of a sudden you see the basketball scene and he's like, okay, I have to watch this film. So, that's what, we're talking about movies catering to different age groups, but now I think it's the children who would really want you to come up with more.
I am working on something which will have a lot of, hopefully, a couple of stuff which will also hopefully bring out the child in all of us. Hopefully,
that's great.
But it's very heartening to see a lot of kids liking.
Yes.
And it's also very it's very gladdening in another level too, that we can impact them at an early age. So when they grow up watching certain cinema, we are kind of talking to a whole new generation,
right,
who are not cynical, who are not jaded, and who are in yet an age where they can pick up these values. See, all the kids who love Sitaare Zameen Par, for example, like how Taare Zameen Par was watched. So I feel that those kids will definitely be impacted positively, will definitely be more empathetic, and they will definitely not be discriminating against people who are suffering, people who are different from them. So then that gives you so much of joy, just more than the job part of it.
Yes, yes.
And also if your kids love you, then you have 10-15 years more of longevity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. Wow, this was such an enriching session with you, sir. Now, I would just want to ask all of you, would you want to ask any question to Prasanna sir? Is there anything in particular that you would like to ask?
Yes.
Prasanna, one question. How you came up with the title of Sitaare Zameen Par? Don't you thought that people might think it's a part 2 of Taare Zameen Par, or I'm just curious about the title.
Yeah. So first we didn't have this title in mind. It was there was no proper title for it. We were doing the official adaptation of Campeones, the Spanish film. So we are not locked on a title. So when we were discussing constantly, I used to talk about Taare Zameen Par to AK sir and ask him, how did you do Taare Zameen Par? How did you do Lagan? I always am a curious student. In the break time and all the time, I used to keep bugging him with all of this, and he also used to maybe curse me under his breath and tell, okay, ye kitna question puchega. Because I really enjoy talking to sir, and especially Taare Zameen Par. The simplicity behind Taare Zameen Par, I know, is very difficult. It's not easy to get the simplicity. So constantly I was talking about Taare Zameen Par, and then so often we talk about Taare Zameen Par. I used to talk about Taare Zameen Par very in high regard. Then one of the times when sir was, just we were discussing about this title. Then he said, you know what, Prasanna, when I saw the original movie, The Campeones, I always saw it as a part 2 of what I wanted to say in Sitaare Zameen Par. I always saw that, yeah, this is like a extension of it. So what do you feel? I feel we should call it as something like Sitaare Zameen Par. And we should make it like a spiritual sequel where we'll tell the audience that it is a comedy, it is everything, but it is like another chapter in the novel, if so to speak, right? Again, empathy, inclusion. So then in the group, we were discussing. So sir said we should have something like Sitaare Zameen Par. I said, done. It's a great idea. And then Sitaare Zameen Par, the title came. And of course, there was always the discussion that is a serious film, then what will people think, which we addressed by the trailer and also by sir constantly talking about it.
Was
And-
Mangal also involved in this? Someone to play?
No, he was not involved in this. He was not. This is written by Divya Pal. Divya Pal.
So I have two questions. You first adapted from your own film, Shubh, and then this is another adaptation. So, first of all, the adaptation process, it's like a remake of your own film, first one.
Yeah.
So, how challenging is that? You have to, beat your previous self.
Correct.
And come out better. And then also, picking the subjects.
Correct.
Like, somewhere these two issues, somewhere as a human being you feel alienated from the society. One is psychologically,
Yeah.
and one is, in whatever form we are born with.
Sure.
So, picking such subject, so how it came, how do you see it, I need to understand.
That's lovely. In fact, because you are a writer, he is able
Yes.
to say so beautifully. Actually, that's quite true. Both are alienate. It's all about alienating. One is maybe because of sexual health. One is about mental health. So actually, you're right. So first thing is adaptation see, adaptation is an art by itself, and see, remake is something which is a very loose word. Remake is something where you made something and you're making it again, almost as if it's a franchise. Like,
I have also, sorry, I want to add that my first film, Body 2, was also adaptation.
of course, I know.
So
Yeah.
when I was hired,
Ah.
my director said, see, you have to swim, but your one hand is tied
Acha.
as a writer. So you have certain limitation also that you cannot cross that boundary.
Ah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, that's an interesting way of looking at it. I don't look at it that way. I don't think my hands are tied. I feel that, wow, such a great story here, I have to make it. See, I'm primarily a director. I don't need to write my own stuff. I'm not coming from a space I've long ago identified myself as a storyteller. I'm very happy to be an invisible guy who's the story and the film matters more than anything else. I've been through that ego battle at a very early age. That I want to write everything, I want to act, I want to direct, I want to do catering also, I want to do first aid also. Then our audience also you only become and watch. So ये सब होता था college में कि यार मैं ऐसा and nobody will give a so but you have to go through that. That ego has to be there. It is a learning process and you have to grow. Then meeting finer people like Balu Mahindra sir. So he saw our short films in college. We were very blessed to have him as a guru. Yeah. So once he liked my film. Then he said, then he called me. I said, sir, how is it, sir? It's not bad. But I'll tell you one thing. I said, yes, sir, please tell. मुझे लगा मैंने फाड़ दिया इतना ऐसा shot. To Balu Mahindra sir will talk about my cinematography and my everything, all light and shadow and everything. He said, don't show off. I was just heartbroken. I said, sir, sir, I don't understand. No, don't show off. Just tell a story and leave. Okay, you're good. But as you grow, don't show off. Just tell your story. That stuck to me, man. I was like, my God, that's what Balu sir has always done. There is a certain genius in the simplicity. So then I told him, sir, it is possible because aapke paas, you have gone through that. Million skills now you have become like a sant. मेरे पास 2 ही आइटम है सर, तो मुझे शो ऑफ ही करना पड़ता. देखो ये जिम में लगा दिया. अभी मेरा तो मैं बर्थ हूँ, तो I'll have to kind of
you have to show up.
Yeah, I'm in the stage where देखो, my son is walking. See, he knows how to walk. See, he's talking. I'm still in that stage. Then, but that was always there in my mind. So I think I come from a space of an adaptation. My diploma film also was an adaptation of a short story by Sujata, a great writer. So I love adaptation. I think it gives you, first in an adaptation, you get your own reading as an audience. Yeah, as an audience, I enjoyed these things. You know? So for me, in an adaptation, the source material is like a script or a narration given to me by a writer. Now, how do you adapt it? It all depends on what you are feeling instinctively as an audience. So yeah, मुझे यहाँ पे लगा कि यार ये अच्छा सीन है. My God, क्या material है. अरे यार, it got over before that. When I do it, I would have done it this way. Yeah, I also come from theatre. So theatre में क्या होता है? Same text होता है. Every theatre company will do it in a million different ways. And I have done the same play in my first school, then adapted it. We have है तो 3-4 item या script होता है. Then we go to another competition. We see अच्छा that school's it's a new school, nobody is there. चलो same item को करो. थोड़ा ऐसा change करके. So I think you learn there. There you have to adapt that whole script. Sometimes there is no costumes. Sometimes there is no, that stage itself is different, some other shape. You have to quickly adapt. Same material, but you have to change a few things. कभी कभी mic नहीं होता था. Mic won't work. Then you have to adapt. So once I remember that in DAV school, it was a full boys school, and I was supposed to play. It was called, it was some big play and all that. And the only problem was that it was called Dear Departed, I think, the play. The only problem is it's a all girls play. And we're all boys school.
Boys school, yeah.
And the teacher is like not, my English teacher by the way. Mr. English literature professor, from yesterday we've been jamming. My English teacher is not finding any problem. मैं बोल रहा हूँ मैम आपको कुछ ऑफ नहीं लग रहा है? No, it's fine. But it's all girls, sister, aunt, it's all, and we're all boys. So what? We'll get the clothes and we wear it. I was like, okay, what nonsense in 12th standard. And then we went, and I did something very wrong, which I should not do, but I was forced to do it that time. Yeah, we're all sounding like broken voiced teenagers. Oh, how are you? That's supposed to be my sister. So it was like we were all like drag queens, you know, and it was not a drag show. So I was like, what the hell, people will laugh at us. So I said that, I don't know what's wrong with my voice. Yeah, it sounds like a male. I think I have a sore throat. ये मैं बोल दिया. Audience started laughing. Now this teacher got pissed off. She said, how dare you change the script? Then the principal came and in front of the teacher said, very good, you did that, we enjoyed. Well, otherwise we would have laughed at you. Then we said, ma'am, actually I rescued the play, but I should have taken your permission. So I think adaptation is something you enjoy. And jokes apart, I think you take stuff which works for you, then you kind of change stuff. But I think in adaptation it's very important not to bring your ego inside. Are you changing something? Because I have heard a lot of people say, हाँ हम remake कर रहे हैं, but I've changed everything. Then why are you doing
remake? क्यों?
Are you feeling bad that you're doing a remake? Number one. Do you feel therefore that doing a remake is a lesser thing? I don't think so. I think what finally matters is the film. So then you change artistically if you feel that there is a cultural reason to change something or there is a dramatic reason. For example, if you see the same scene in the bathroom sequence, the thought is the same in the original also. And in this, it's done in a very different way. Because in that original film, it will be like a smaller sequence where it's a mouse goes inside and that's all. There is no that whole bathing together and all that. So why is that difference? Because culturally I felt that यार ये इतना बड़ा moment हो सकता है इंडिया में. Spanish में it works perfectly. But India में मुझे वो moment चाहिए. Then I based it on Holi. It is a Holi festival where they are playing with water and that mouse coming. So I kind of made it into an operatic. Because मुझे लगा, sorry? With the environment. Also मुझे लगा कि यार हम बोल रहे हैं कि ये पानी से डरता है. So डर का opposite क्या है? खेल. He has to play with water. Then the thought. So then you take the seed from there. And then, but lot of scenes we kept as it is. They're funny. So Divya adapted it very beautifully to the Indian context. And we added a lot of things. For example, the mother sequence. In the original, it stops where he opens the lift and he discovers them in the lift. After that, there is nothing. He's shocked, they're shocked. But for us, it's a big thing. So we created a big scene out of it and, we brought it. Yeah. So I think just instinctively, Divya and me being desi mainstream audience, तो हमें क्या लग रहा है वो we adapted it, and we didn't intellectualize that process a lot. We did it quite organically.
Organically, yeah. Which I think is best.
Which I think is better. Same way ending also I felt that
Yeah.
वो end song होना चाहिए. I felt that we need a little more, that what do I say? That walk of AK sir, the 3-minute recollection. Because we Indians are, we like to cry.
Yeah.
और हमारा बाय भी ना यहाँ पे एक बाय बोलते हैं, उसके बाद डोर में एक बाय बोलते हैं, कार के अंदर एक बाय बोलते हैं. Until he goes to the road, we say bye. Then अरे भूल गया. We come back. So a lot of people said that, not many people in the audience, I mean in the testing and all, they said, yeah, are we having like 2-3 climaxes? I said, yeah, because Indians love to say bye 4-5 times. So, well, it is a risk in a movie where if people don't like your movie, then definitely they'll say, yaar, kitna bye bol rahe ho bhai, tu jana. But hoping that people who like the movie will want that little more emotion to be sucked out. And one should always remember that, see, people who don't like your movie anyway won't like your movie. And which is fair. If I've not liked a movie, whether it is 2 hours long or 2 hours 15 minutes long, I don't like your movie. Now it doesn't matter. But if I enjoy your company,
Yes.
I'll want to keep living in that world. This is a very risky and a very delusional process also. It's a dilemma. So then when you have somebody like Aamir sir who's experienced, then we also ask the people, we kind of keep trimming it and keeping it as tight as possible. I think then you find a good balance.
Yes. Any other questions?
2017 में चैंपियन आई थी, आपने कब देखी थी और कब डिसाइड किया कि मुझे इसको अडॉप्ट करना?
I think it was offered to me in 2019. 2019. Yeah.
देखी आपने?
Yeah. 2020 I think I saw it. 2019 or 2020. So they offered me to adapt it. And 2019 I would have seen it. I think 2020, end of September, we narrated to AK sir.
Okay. Wow, this was an enriching session. As I said earlier, there were so many things. Okay, we have one last question.
Yeah, any writing questions?
Yes.
On
yes.
behalf of Divya,
Please,
I shall.
please.
Yeah. Him and then, yeah.
My name is Yash. I have a question for you. Do you feel if there is the same person in a film for a story, screenplay and direction, does the film turn out to be a better version of itself, or does it make any difference if it's being done by different people?
No, absolutely not. Spielberg has not written any script. I think one film he perhaps wrote, or he co-wrote. I think it was, what is that? The Third Kind, Encounters of the Third Kind or something. I think one script he co-wrote. But rest of it, he had writers. He always worked with writers. So he also makes wonderful films. James Cameron also makes wonderful films. In mainstream, I'm saying. He writes his own stuff. You have examples of great filmmakers who write. Because see, you must understand that direction is a very different. So my first film I wrote and directed myself, Kalyana Samil Saavdhan. But once I write it, that script has to be it's written by somebody else. I cannot think that, that is I have written it. You have to see it with a distance and say that this is boring, this is too indulgent, this is a writer trying to act too smart. You have to talk as if you're somebody else. So I think what matters is both the cases work, but direction is completely different from writing. It's completely different. But I think good directors will be good writers too. They don't need to write. Like most good directors are also good actors. They have good music sense. Like that, you should have the understanding of writing. As a director, you should read a lot of books, you should watch a lot of movies, you should also try to write a lot. Then it's easier for you to communicate to a writer. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Maybe I just wanted to sort of extend the conversation on adaptation. And my question would be specifically regarding adapting the internal monologue when you're adapting from literature to a screenplay. Because in literature it's very easy to write, they thought something. And I remember when I was at film school, my writing teacher, Raphael Kapelinski, would often say, you can't have a character just looking out the window, gazing out the window, because you might think as a writer that they're thinking about something. Maybe they're thinking about their dinner. So you've got to adapt that into the medium of cinema in some way. And I wanted to understand how you go about that specifically.
Yeah, you're right. So, but you can certainly have a guy look out of the window, but you should understand that that's a guy looking out of the window, is all I'm getting. But that depends on where you place it. If the first scene in the movie, It's a guy looking out the window. So last scene in the movie, where we are showing perhaps that the guy has been in a windowless room, then even if a guy just opens the window, I'll cry. Correct. So there is a lot of context to the image itself. Like a lot of time on Twitter, you'll find the climax scene or something, some image they'll put. And they'll say, my God, this scene made me cry. Like, what is this image? Some guy, just normal guy, what is it? When you watch the movie, you'll understand. So I feel in the movie, the screenplay is very, very important. Where you put what scene, that's a very structural thing. And the engineer in me always looks at structure. The same scene, if you put it in the beginning of a movie, middle of a movie, what is the scene behind before? So, for example, if you want to convey the longing of, the longing of a woman to be a mother, right? The simplest way is to show her looking at her, like we did in Sitaare Zameen Par. Because there, I have the space only for 2 shots. In 2-3 shots, I have to show, she opens it, she sees. It's as simple as that. You should not shy away from that either. Whatever the story requires, you have to tell. Correct? Now, for example, if there is a inner monologue, like for example, the you have to externalize it, right? You have like that dipping of that thing, the biscuit, is kind of becomes like a metaphor for what is happening, right? So I think the thought which is there in the inner monologue can be a couple of scenes. It can be the full first half, but it has to be expressed through conflict and drama and situations with as less words as possible. So for example, if the inner monologue is that I feel like my dad never cared for me, I feel like an abandoned child. Now how will you show it? So write 10 scenes to show this. And then select that, okay, which is the most dramatic? Can I say this whole thing in 3 shots, 4 shots, in a very concise way? How can I show it? So for example, I'm saying we'll do an exercise and for example, it's his birthday party and his dad doesn't turn up. Whatever, n number of things, he just forgets the kid in the park, attends some phone call and goes off. You will come up with 200 ideas like this. List all of them and then you find out what is the one which is the most unique way of saying it and the most powerful way of saying it. Right? So stuff like that. So you have to, I think adapting short stories is a great learning. So when you take short stories and kind of write a screenplay, you will know that, the difference between the 2 forms.
For example,
Whiplash.
It started with short film and then it converted into a big.
Yeah. A lot of great short films. O. Henry, short films are great to adapt. A lot of them. For example, in my, that diploma film which I did, it was a short story and it gives you like a nice line, like a beginning, middle and an end for you to kind of, but you have to do certain things, to make it come alive. But largely it should be conflict, it should be visuals, it should be dramatic situations which reveal it. Arthur Miller says in a beautiful book on writing that you have to put the protagonist through a series of obstacles through which we reveal his character. Right? We can't just, and we can't just say that, that, because me saying to you one thing is one thing, but me actually going on a journey with you and showing you my life and all that is a totally different thing altogether. Yeah.
सुनो सर,
Yeah.
बॉलीवुड में जैसे आप राइटिंग की बात कर रहे हैं, राइटर इतनी बड़ी चीज होता है और यहाँ इस अपनी फिल्म से बेस हुई है। सलीम जावेद पहला नाम है जिन्होंने अपना उस नाम के मुताबिक पैसा दिया रिलेशन से। क्या अभी भी राइटर को उतना इम्पोर्टेंस क्यों नहीं मिलता या उसको उतना पैसा क्यों नहीं मिलता जो सारी फिल्म का सबसे बड़ी हिस्सा है फाउंडेशन?
Is it still a struggle? Yeah, even I want to know. Yeah.
I'm sure it is. See, it will always be a struggle. See, Hollywood में अभी भी strike किए हैं.
True.
So it is not. I don't think the fight ever stops. One has to keep at it. But I think as a writer and director myself, I agree with you that writing is the birthplace of the movie, and writing is very, very, very important. And one aspect is the money aspect, which we can always debate because that is there in every industry, unionizing it and fighting for money. That is always there. But that is a more visible fight. The more important thing is respect for writing. वो बहुत ही important है. Respect for writing. Another thing is nurturing the writing, allowing the writer to fail. We should not think of writing as a process कि मैं पैसा दे दिया और perfectly script आ जाएगा उधर से. It is a relationship you strike with the writer. It is a process. So directors and producers should learn the knack of working with the writer. Writers are moody because they're creating. It's like a woman who's pregnant who's delivering a baby. That woman needs those 9 months of love and care. You cannot tell that, अरे यार ये writer बहुत moody writer है, ये बहुत ये है. हाँ ऐसे ही होंगे. We have to learn to deal with them because they are in the creative force, right? I'm not saying that all writers should be moody and all, but I'm saying that if we can adapt to stars and say that okay, this star is very important, we have to take. Same way, I think we should give the respect to writers also, and not in terms of standing up when they come into the room or not like that. I'm saying okay. For example, I'm saying that if you like somebody's writing, right, then you approach them. That's the best way. Then you allow them to kind of bring their own thoughts and allow them to kind of bring their own life. Then some magic may happen. I feel we should not, like as a director, if I'm working with Divya, for example, I would give him a lot of freedom to write what he wants, based very few thoughts. But let him just fly.
Yeah.
उसके बाद अब सुनिएगा and then you feel, okay, this is beautiful, this is working for me. But also understand the writer is very vulnerable.
True.
So don't destroy the spirit of the writer. वैसे ये अच्छा नहीं है, मज़ा नहीं आया. आपको मज़ा नहीं आया तो मैं क्या नाचूं? What should I do? ये मज़ा नहीं आया का मतलब क्या होता है? Which most people complain कि मज़ा नहीं आया. हाँ मैं क्या करूँ मज़ा नहीं आया? Should I tell you a joke? हाँ.
So it's just an observation. During the promotion of Sitaare Zameen Par, so on behalf of Divya and me, first time I noticed that writers they are getting celebrated with the promotional plan. I have never observed it before because it's a long history. If you remember the history, जंजीर में हम सलीम जावेद की बात करते हैं, उनका नाम पोस्टर पे भी नहीं था, तो रातों रात उन्होंने किसी को ड्रंक आदमी को पैसे दिए, वो जाके बच्चन के चेहरे पे लिख के आ गया रिटन बाय सलीम जावेद.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
तो राइटर की फ्रस्ट्रेशन की हिस्ट्री बहुत पुरानी है. But thank you on behalf of the Divya and us, all of us, that इस बार इस फिल्म में बहुत अच्छे से राइटर को उतनी जगह मिली जितनी डायरेक्टर को मिली. So thank you.
Thank you. And I take the thanks on behalf of Aamir sir also, because Aamir sir is a person like that. So he comes from a lot of respect for writers. So thank you, and I'm thanking you on behalf of Aamir sir also.
And good that setting a precedent, because we would want more filmmakers to keep this in mind. You have to respect the writer and give them.
Now the trend is on.
Oh, very good, very good. Also, I'll tell you one more thing. क्या होता है यार? See, we have to understand that there is a. Why do we make movies? All of us make movies. One aspect is money, correct? The creative side में one aspect is money. More than that is the glory, the love of the audience. कि मेरा नाम आना चाहिए credit में, मुझे प्यार मिलना चाहिए, which is not at all a wrong thing. I think more and more, like Raju sir. I met Raju sir and told, sir, you're such a lovely person because always you went with Abhijat. आपका नाम कम नहीं हो रहा है सर, आपका नाम बढ़ रहा है. Lot of we have directors can do that. New directors, when you work with writers, when you take them along, your name is never going to come down. Your name will only go up, because what happens is that there is a certain positive energy which gets created. A positive role models are done, and what will happen? More young people will look and say, "अरे यार, आमिर खान के साथ writer भी आ सकता है, तो let me invest in my writing." It's not only money. Money का fight always होगा, पर ये तो हम कर सकते हैं. At least we can give respect. At least we can give the name, the credit, and I feel उसमें क्या होगा? The ownership भी होगा. Then more and more writers will be excited to be writers. They'll say, okay, yaar, at least see Aamir sir is respecting writer, so Raju sir is respecting. So I have to be a writer. Salim Javed's books they read. So it's very important. And see, truly I feel that every single person in the movie should be respected. Every single person. It is a team effort of thousands of people. You know that, we all know that. But at least, in the spotlight wherever you go. That's why I try to talk about my writers all the time. Be it Hitesh, be it Divya. So that somebody listening to it will say, oh, so writing is also very good. It is, yaar. I mean.
At least it becomes more aspirational.
More aspirational.
Because, then, the glory is gone, the money is not there, there's no fame.
Yeah, then why should you?
People would also, sort of stay away.
Yeah.
A reference point.
Yeah. It's very difficult.
Director has,
Yes.
everybody has,
Correct.
wanted a script. Okay, this is the reference point. Now I have to go beyond
Correct.
that.
Hmm.
But writer,
Yeah.
they start with a blank page.
True.
Absolutely. Also, it takes lot of effort to be a writer. Lot more effort, in the sense
Very
that
isolating process.
हाँ, very
Isolating
isolating process. वो
process,
बहुत
yes.
बेचारा वो तो then the least you can do is to give that the love from the audience कि यार देख तूने लिखा और इतना लोग प्यार कर रहे हैं तुम्हें नहीं तो you feel like isolated and I've been a writer myself and it's a very scary process.
So it was, as isolating for you?
Always.
I mean, did you felt that?
Always.
okay,
My first film when I wrote it.
originally-
See, writing is an isolating process. It is also a very beautiful process. It's a process where once you start writing, you're scared of writing. But once that first scene clicks, then you're in a trip. I'm assuming it's one of those hallucinogenic trips. I've never tried any. But I'm assuming it's one of those trips, it's like characters are talking to you and like you're in a trance and you forget that and like tuck, you're writing. Agala din you may think it's crap. But that time, it's like you're watching some glorious thing happening. So I'll highly recommend it. Please, you should go and write. Because some magic happens. You become absent and you become a medium and thoughts come through you.
Yes.
But it is isolating. Because you're staring at the blank page, you're always feeling that what I'm writing could be bad. Also then you have to narrate it to people. It's not fully formed.
Yeah.
And other thing I feel is, I request all of you, at least when you make films, please be kind with your feedback. When you're very harsh with feedback, ऐसा लगता है कि हम धंधा कर रहे हैं. ऐसा नहीं है. ऐसा मत बोलिएगा, please. Because see, it's a very emotional thing. It is like you're looking at a child growing up. The child is in LKG now. It will become 10th standard in 2 months, 3 months. Wait karo na.
Yeah.
But so it's a lot of directors and producers don't know how to process a work in progress script. उनको समझ में नहीं आता है कि ये कैसा आएगा. And for example, that's why a lot of writers also are scared to talk. They're scared to take feedback. So it's, I think, both ways. If we allow for that, then the industry will benefit. More good films will come out. Like in Malayalam cinema, writers are always credited. Writers are celebrated. People look forward to the writer's next film, irrespective of the director. Yeah. Telugu also. Telugu.
In fact, isolating, to add further, it's a very psychotic process.
It is.
Because you are playing the hero, you are
Yeah.
the villain,
Yeah,
you are
yeah.
the kid, you are everyone in the film.
And yet you're alone. Yet you're alone.
Yes.
Yet you are alone.
You know what I've read, speaking of Sitaare and the topic and all that, I read this book called The Molecule of More about dopamine.
Yes.
Very, very beautiful and very shocking thing was said in that book, that actually imaginative talents like music,
Yes.
creative जो बोलते हैं, writing, acting, direction, where you're imagining a lot of things, apparently you have all the symptoms of mild schizophrenia.
Oh God.
Yeah, you're hearing voices. You're thinking a reality it's real and you're getting the heartbeat.
Yeah.
You're writing suspense scene and आपका heartbeat बढ़ रहा है. So that book said that talent itself could be on the spectrum, and your ability to the same process which schizophrenic patient में बहुत ज़्यादा होता है and they suffer. Apparently similar network of circuit or whatever of your brain gets activated for writers and artists. So she writes so beautifully her thesis. She's a biological जो भी है expert है
Okay.
brain science में कि maybe talent and what you call as a wrong condition or a bad condition are actually just different degrees of it. So that just blew my mind. And they are doing lot of research कि autistic spectrum में जो है, the beginning part of it could actually be talented people. Like so many talented autistic people are there who know the memory of everything and who are making music. They're mind-blowing talent. So I think again, to bring it back to our topic, that what we think is below you, you just wait, you just read, you understand, अरे यार ये तो मेरे से बहुत talented है और मैं इसको तो पागल बोल रहा था, तो कितना हम बुरा काम कर रहे थे.
So that's where we end the session. But I know there were so many lessons, to learn from you, Prasanna sir. I mean, not just about direction, movie making, and just about films, but I think also from your personal instances that you've shared with us, so much to learn from you always. And we're really looking forward to the next venture. And once it's there, people would be, flocking the theatres in huge numbers. So thank you so much for speaking to us. And thank you, audience, for being here and for putting across all those interesting questions.
Thank you. I enjoyed this. Thank you.
Thank you.